Welcome everyone to whaletank Hangout number 227. Today is Saturday, October 7th, 2017, and this is the Beyond Bitcoin Network. And we are joined today by a number of people who RSVP every week to have their projects covered on the Steemit platform. And the projects, we try to create synergy between the BitShares and Steem chains. So those who create coins are based on the upvotes in this Hangouts RSVP thread. You can establish your place in the order of precedence. So by sharing your place, your post and RSVP post to others and having them upvote it, you can become first in the order of this Hangout. So with that said, there's some additional power-ups beyond just having a 15-minute slot and getting upvotes to make yourself first, second, or third in the pack. We have a little bit of a power-up bonus that we provide everybody who has their own token. And this is the following. We have one where if you have a token and you just list the BitShares exchange listing where your token resides, we will provide you with a double benefit to what you've been upvoted in terms of the order of precedence for this Hangout. Secondly, if you want to go over your 15-minute period, you can share drop on people who are at these Hangouts, who sign the guest list. Third is at the end of every week, we will choose a 1,000 Beyond Bit reward for people who have a token. One of the people who has a token here that is listed today will receive 1,000 Beyond Bits. Each Beyond Bit currently is around 40 cents. So, with this said, you can earn a decent bit of funding to help your project if you have a token in the BitShares ecosystem and you utilize the Steemit ecosystem to help advertise it. Now, with that said, at the end of every week, if I've chosen somebody and you believe that there is a reason that I should not have chosen them, or that you have a better offer, or something that you think would be more valuable to the community, you're more than welcome to also leverage your tokens to try to benefit our community in a way that might change my mind before the end of the week when the tokens are sent out. Now, with that said, we have the established order of precedence today has been the following. Nutella, and he is going to be talking about the whaletank transcription service. We will then move on to Ride of Passion for the decentralized experience-based travel portal. Then we will move on to Bam Bam 808, who will be talking about Skillcoin and his other projects that will be associated with Skillcoin. We will then follow that with Mr. Wang, who is going to be talking about the official Houston Steemit meetup. After which will be Nick Nass of the Community Casino, followed by Jay Ringo, who's going to be talking about blockchain radio. And then finally, we will cap off this session with I'm going to try very hard to say this correctly, Eastmail, and he is going to be talking about using Steemit to teach children about finance. I'll ask Tella if he is ready to present his weekly report and what he's doing.
So hey guys, can you hear me well?
Very well.
Okay, so because the headset is sometimes doing wacky stuff. So how do I start? I think I became lucky because out of the blue, Chucky Fucky presented himself and that he wanted to do the translations, or actually he wanted to translate some of my posts. He's here, so maybe he wants to say a word. Chucky Pucky, are you here? Well, maybe later then. Anyway, so that was great news. So because doing the transcripts is quite a lot of work, and because you have to edit, even though the automatic captions from YouTube are 95% correct, there's still a lot of room for improvement in the way people say their sentences, how they formulate them. So, and also people like Xanax, they will be pretty accurate, but then again, they will fill their void by saying a lot of and and you know, you get the feeling. So it becomes like a pretty long whining to listen to them. And if you can read along, then you can maybe skip or you know, you stay engaged, right? So with the translations, which is great, a great addition, I see that we can actually disassemble hard to get products like BitShares and other projects. If you have it in text, you can quote it. You can ask direct questions, and if you then can engage and also see the people who are speaking, you can like link them from the audio to Steemit. And you can have links in the subtitles as well to the projects and stuff like that. So shout out to Alex Morris for doing actually a tool to merge the subtitles, because I'm recording all the tracks separately with the multi-channel option here in Mumble. And what it does is that I can recognize each speaker individually, and if there might be like noise in the future, somebody talking over each other, then you can edit that. I'm not doing that at the moment, but it's, you know, it's very quick to batch upload it to YouTube, and it will make separate videos. I have like a shell script to make videos out of it, which is just a very quick way of doing stuff. Although I might want to have this maybe as a feature on a server that people can just upload the tracks, but for now I'm just going to do it for people because it's like too complicated for them, I think, even though I publish the code on all the posts, or virtually all the posts. But the what we need help with is people who want to join, and the idea is because it's so a lot of work, we need extra support. Maybe if people are going to help us, then they need to, like, I think, fairly earn also some tokens and also some real money, because you're really I did the BitShares hangout a few days ago, Thursday, and it really literally worked the whole day on it and then some. So it's a lot of work. So I envisioned that we, I mean, I already made a coin, and I have a vision that it's like a company on a blockchain where people can like can sign up and do some work, and if they get to know a project by actually transcribing it or translating it, then they can actually become ambassadors for this project, because they by learning, by translating and transcribing, you learn a lot, and then you can become like an endpoint for people to ask questions. You also distribute it for your own community, the information from the project. So we think like it's fair to say that if projects who are winning or who are winning 1,000 Beyond Bits, that they should like think about reaching maybe a wider audience. Perfect example is BitSpark, because BitSpark is working on remittance. A lot of Filipinos could use BitSpark, and thus it would be very nice to have people translate to Philippines or whatever their language is exactly. Sorry to say it this way, but I really don't know. I hope with this that we'll reach more people by having translations done this way, and that they also become in the end ambassadors. So we'd like to reward them with some coins, which may be worth something in the future if this would get like really big, because I believe in a thing called like Steam jobs, because fighting for upvotes on blogs is, you can do it this way, but really contributing to the platform is maybe even better. I mean, like Steemit is pretty centralized in my opinion, and I really like the approach we are doing here in the whaletank. And I was really hoping that people could like also maybe build websites and all the apps into one system, because now it's really scattered all around. And yeah, with support for these projects by like transcribing, it's the first step to connect to people, and then we can go on maybe to do like explain like I'm 5 and grow this idea of because these crypto projects are quite difficult to understand. I mean, my first time trying to connect here on the whaletank and creating a coin, it was not easy, and it became with a little bit of stress, which like it's not bad, and it filters out people who want to just gain a quick buck. But on the other hand, if they want to really use it, I mean, I always hear people, yeah, I use Bittrex or I use this and this service, and I never hear them using, yeah, I use BitShares. No, it's always something else. So, and I like BitShares a lot. So I think I will, for myself, tackle the complicated projects, and I will let others get acquainted with easier projects, so that they don't have a hard time. And because I also believe in not doing the same work all over again, and so that you can grow in this decentralized company, I could say. So we need help with the coin idea. So our idea is to like split the revenues with the translators. Chucky Fucky found a way to do that. I'm not sure what it's called. If you're here, Chucky Fucky, can you maybe chime in and tell something about how you found this this revenue splitting thing?
Sure. Can you guys hear me correctly?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So the basic idea for the translations is, well, I don't know if you guys have used Steam Whales before. Steam Whales has, like, it lets you split authors, like, rewards with a co-author. So the basic idea would be for the translations to be split up amongst the creator of the content, because it is their hard work being done, and as well as the translator. Um, the translator would get a cut, let's say a percentage of the post rewards, and that way the translator and the author would both be happy and would both get benefits from working on this. Um, the other issue that came to my mind was that sometimes you translate some content that would not get a lot of upvotes or would not get enough payout to compensate the amount of work being done by the translator and the transcribers as well. So we need to find a way to merge this and make it possible for everyone to come out with benefits for their hard work and time done.
Yeah, so I really see that people who are interested in our work want to get out there. Their project is bigger, like BitSpark or Topsol, that they make use of this translation service and transcribing service, because then they can reach a lot more people, and also by winning like 1,000 Beyond Bits, they can give us a bit so that we can upload their posts. We can also give them of course, their the output of our work, so they can use it on their own website. Also, they can do it afterward. But I think it's good to know that either way we get like upvotes, or we use Beyond Bits to upvote it, or they have to pay up a little bit more to make this thing viable in the future as well. So if you have any questions, please ask them now, and we will. I or Chucky Foggy will be happy to answer them, and if you want to join, that would be great too.
Before I start into my tirade, does anybody have any questions?
It's not so much a question, but I will just say that I appreciate the service you're putting together a lot. Transcription is very useful for outreach, because a lot of people don't want to sit through and watch an entire video to get a paragraph worth of data. So if you just have a transcribed thing, you can say, hey, go to page whatever, and do it. So I look forward to watching this develop.
Yeah, exactly. So what is also really cool is that you can have interactive transcriptions, which look like sentences, and they light up. They are being highlighted when it's being said, pronounced. You're hearing the current sentence, and but I think this cannot be done with Steam, because Steemit is it's all static HTML. So, but we can always do it on a separate server.
Let me just chip in and say that we are currently working with Oppenheimer. He's on here as well. He's listening on translating to Spanish. We are the only two that are currently working. I did get a request on Discord for another person to join us for Filipino as well. So we'll be working on translating into Filipino as well.
Yeah, and I'm very glad that Chucky Fucky is more the type to connect with people. I must admit I haven't been very active in that because it was so much work, and I'm actually also looking at the technical side a lot, because that had to be built first, because I don't expect people to learn that, because it's quite if you're not familiar with it, it's not easy. So, but Alex Morris did a great job of making an actual object-oriented program instead of like some weird obscure shell scripts I use. And so at least it has helped a lot to create a beautiful transcript out of the subtitles, and so it's really worth it to have the tracks separated, so you can separate who said what, and who said what. It's of course possible to just use the the traditional way. But why not do it nice? So if anybody has any questions, please go ahead.
Well, I would say personally that I will definitely try to help where I can to make sure that all of the people who come to these hangouts, that they have their journey transcribed through you guys. So you can count on whatever support I can give. But I would definitely love to see you guys start thinking about how you might leverage your own token as well. And I can, of course, work with you guys on that here behind the scenes, but it might be a good idea to have your own token and try to offer your services in return for those tokens, because then you can kind of hand those tokens out to people who are doing cool things, and people who are doing interesting things that, and who are active people who like to just do things. Eventually they're going to do something that can create synergy with you anyway. And if you're working with them, the tendency is that stuff will happen more and more. So I would urge you guys to consider how that might be leveraged too. But I will definitely support you guys and work with you guys and to the degree that I can, because like everybody's saying here, transcription and translation are
Yeah, I just wanted to say something
Sorry.
real
Go
quick,
ahead.
if I can. Okay, so the idea is already here, but I'm not sure if it's like viable. But the idea was to give these tokens to people, or they can buy them, and then if people are doing work, then they can like return them and get paid, something like that. So maybe you know. You have some tokens, but you can only use them for like upvoting or have like a share in the company, and have also a way of like saying like, hey, you know, I bought some of your tokens. I would need to have this and this done, and we can schedule it, and it's like a sort of accounting. But like I said, I'm not very keen on all the possibilities yet, so I might have to read up something, or we'll connect with you, Fuzzy, and we'll figure out something out. I'm sure.
Yeah, and yeah, it's cool to see that you guys are all doing these things, because I call these these hangouts kind of like, for me, the good news of the week, because you have all this terrible stuff that's going on that news always covers, and we try to cover people doing things that are trying to bring value. We don't always have everybody who's seen that way, but we try. And you guys doing what you're doing, these are the things that are big, and they seem to some people, like I'm just translating, or I'm just doing this. No, that's very valuable, especially if you're persistent and continue doing it, and people know that you're able to do it, right? And just not giving up. So I appreciate all the work that you guys are doing. I also appreciate, thank you, Alex, or Pimo, Alex P. Morris. You're going to get the name Pimo because you help so many people. Power up, buddy, for P. Anyway. And thank you, Nutella, for bringing these people on board, Oppenheimer and Chucky. Those people are two very valuable community members, and it's good to see that they're stepping up and leveraging the language that the other languages they know to help bring this message a little bit further to another geographic region in the world, right? It's a big deal. So thank you.
You're
Pleasure.
welcome.
And I'll just say thank you also for everybody here who joins these whaletank hangouts. We try to leverage these tokens called Beyond Bits to try to show people in the Steam ecosystem and elsewhere that we can create synergy between chains, and that we can leverage the ecosystems that exist to bring value to one another and show that in the marketplace. These are the types of ideas that I'm always looking for, is people to create their own value propositions, especially the ones that try to create synergy where possible. So